You were taught that enlightenment is a journey, that truth must be earned through lifetimes of study, devotion, and suffering. That wisdom hides itself from those who aren't ready, but that's a lie. A comforting illusion meant to keep humanity obedient, forever reaching for what was once already theirs. The ancient scribes of Kem, Egypt before the dynasties, whispered that Thoth, the god of knowledge, never withheld wisdom. He hid it in plain sight, not in temples or scrolls, but in the mind of every being. What people call awakening is not discovery, it's remembrance. And within that remembrance lies the forbidden collection, the 75 teachings of Thoth, a system so complete that every law of the cosmos, every secret of spirit, alchemy, and time is coded within it. Priests feared it, kings banned it, but Thoth never wrote it for them. He wrote it for those who would dare to see through illusion, for those who understand that wisdom is not given, it is remembered. When the Emerald Tablet spoke of Thoth as the Atlantean who conquered death, most thought it was metaphor. But buried in those verses were clues to the lost teachings. 75 distinct precepts that form a complete map of reality. The first 9 govern the self, silence, polarity, rhythm, balance, the subtle laws of the inner world. The next 23 describe the architecture of existence, how light becomes matter, how thought shapes dimension, how time bends under consciousness. The remaining 43, they are forbidden. They speak of transmutation, of how mind can step beyond mortality, how a human being can dissolve into light and yet remain aware. The priests of Hermopolis once taught fragments of these to initiates, cloaking them in parables and myths to avoid destruction. But Thoth's final message was clear. All veils are illusions. The divine does not hide from you. You hide from it. Thoth's teachings were never about becoming gods. They were about remembering you already are one. Every teaching dismantles an illusion, that you are bound by flesh, that death defines an ending, that destiny is external. The so-called 75 are not separate lessons. They are reflections of a single truth fragmented by perception. Each one is a door, but all open to the same chamber, the union between thought and creation. When you speak, you create. When you think, you weave reality. When you believe, you summon. Thoth's wisdom was not meant for worship. It was a mirror for those ready to see themselves as the architects of all worlds. When humanity began to rediscover pieces of Thoth's system, empires trembled. The pharaohs feared the liberation of the mind more than any enemy. So the 75 were broken, divided, and renamed. Hermeticism, Gnosticism, Kabbalah, alchemy, fragments of one original code. The priests hid symbols beneath astrology, geometry, and religion, making sure no one could ever assemble the full pattern again. But whispers survived, in monasteries, in mystery schools, in grimoires disguised as philosophy. Even now, some say the Emerald Order keeps the 75 encoded within vibrations, frequencies disguised as music. For those who hear it, the mind begins to remember. The veil between the mortal and divine grows thinner. The price, however, remains unchanged. Those who awaken must face the truth that there are no gods to pray to, only reflections to understand. Every time you felt something inside, you resist the world's noise. That quiet knowing that you already know. That's Thoth's voice echoing through your DNA. The 75 teachings aren't distant relics. They pulse inside you as intuition, déjà vu, and that uncanny sense of having seen beyond the veil. The mind you carry is the same blueprint Thoth used to write the laws of creation. You've glimpsed these teachings in your own life, when intention shaped outcomes, when silence revealed understanding, when chaos became clarity. That's the remembrance. The more you listen, the more it returns. But it's not gentle. The 75 demand honesty. They strip away identity, belief, and ego until nothing remains but raw awareness. Then you realize you never needed to seek divinity. You were it, clothed in forgetfulness. In the age before Egypt, when the lands were still divided between sea and sand, Thoth was said to walk among the children of light, the beings who remembered the original code. They spoke in frequencies rather than words, and when they taught, the air shimmered with geometric patterns. Thoth transcribed these into symbols: spirals, ankhs, and eyes, each one representing one of the 75 truths. The first teaching declared, "As above, so below, because there is no above or below." The second revealed, "The universe is mind, form is its dream." The third warned, "To name the divine is to limit it, to silence it is to become it." By the 75th, he no longer wrote in symbols but in vibration, pure sound that resonated through the pyramids, embedding itself in stone. Those who entered the temples were not learning. They were remembering. Each wall, each carving was an echo of that knowledge. Over time, humanity forgot the sound and kept the symbols, worshiping what was meant to awaken them. That was the great tragedy. The map remained, but the travelers fell asleep. What Thoth built was not a religion. It was a technology of consciousness. The 75 teachings were the code of creation itself. Modern science calls them energy, frequency, vibration. Mystics call them the 7 laws of hermetics. But the ancients called them the breath of the infinite. They govern stars, souls, and even gods. When Thoth vanished into the west, into what he called the fields of Amenti, he promised to return when humanity remembered how to hear the sound of light again. And that return, he said, would not come as a being descending from the sky, but as a resonance awakening within every mind at once. The 75 teachings are that resonance, waiting to be recalled, vibrating just beneath the threshold of memory. But every truth breeds corruption. As ages passed, the 75 became scattered into cults, religions, and dogmas. Each group claimed fragments as their own, turning cosmic wisdom into hierarchy and worship. The sacred code that could have freed humanity became the very chain that bound it. The voice of Thoth faded beneath the noise of power, and the sound of remembrance fell silent. Yet even now, as humanity teeters between chaos and awakening, those vibrations stir again. The 75 teachings never died. They sleep inside the collective memory of mankind, waiting for one mind to remember them completely. You were never meant to read the 75. You were meant to remember them. The moment you do, creation itself begins to listen back.